Okay, welcome everyone. This is the third session for our CoRise SEA Summit. The first session was about startup growth stories from Singapore, then it was Philippines. Right now we are in Indonesia, where we are awesome founders, leaders from Indonesia who are joining us to share about their stories and about building a business in Indonesia. And this particular program is part of the CoRise Southeast Asia Summit that we are organizing. I'm Jatin. I'm one of the co-founder of eChai Network. We host engaging startup networking meetups in 25 global cities in 15 countries. And this program is being co-organized by Vadhwani Foundation and TIB Nitro. So Krish and Dion and Dita are from Vadhwani Foundation. So Dion, if you can tell us a little more about Vadhwani Foundation.
Watwari Foundation is a non-for-profit organization with the primary mission of accelerating economic development by driving job creation through large-scale initiative in entrepreneurship, small business growth, and also innovation and upskilling. Yeah, it's good to be here and to meet you all in this wonderful event. We hope this wonderful event can be the catalyst for further collaboration between us, between Watwani Foundation and all the participants, and also will give us insight to become more agile in this challenging situation.
Awesome. And Dion is also based in Jakarta.
I'm based in Jakarta.
Awesome. Cheryl, if you can tell us a little about TIP Nitro.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Arenas, the project lead of the Technological Institute of the Philippines Nurture Innovation Technology Revolution Office, or TIP Nitro. It is a collaboration-friendly university-based technology business incubator funded by the Department of Science and Technology, or DOST of the Philippines. We promote and support innovation all the way to commercialization by providing a range of resources, services, and facilities during the development stage of the venture. And TIP Nitro, we also organize speaker series like this, workshops to support budding entrepreneurs in our community. And we also offer mentorship opportunity for networking and partnership to support not just our incubators, but also the whole TIP community. We are sector agnostic. So currently, we have incubators in the technology space, clean technology space, laundry delivery, furniture industry, software as a service, financial technology, and healthcare. So thank you for joining us, and I hope this event will foster more collaboration in the region.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cheryl. So just to give you some housekeeping announcement, we'll have some of the friends who are joining us live on Zoom. They are watching this conversation. And on social media, we have live stream at a lot of other places. So friends, if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat towards the second half of the session. We'll take up some of those questions. And with this, we'll just get started. So basically the format is we'll have each of the speaker will give their introduction about what they do, about their business for a couple of minutes, and then we'll directly jump into the question and answer. So Angela, Hira, and Budi, thank you so much for joining in. Angela, if you can tell us a little about your background, what is Gradana? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Yes, I always forgot to unmute myself from time to time. A bit too excited, I guess. Well, thank you, Jatin, for the introduction, and thank you, Vadhwani Foundation, and also TIP for having me participate as part of this panelist. So my name is Angela. I'm the co-founder of Gradana. What Gradana is basically a property-focused fintech P2P lending based in Indonesia. So what do? Is we basically have two sets of customers, and with the aim of making property more affordable for all and also more investable for more people. And hence we have two sets of customers. The one set is people who need the financing, maybe for, let's say, down payment financing, rental bridging loans, renovation financing, or we also do a bit of small SME financing, such as for invoice financing. And again, for people who wanted to invest the way we position ourselves, it's like we are an alternative way to invest in property. Because before Gradana, usually like the notion is if you wanted to invest in property, you need a lot of capital, right? And then it's also, how do you say, it's very speculative, because the only way you can make money out of the investment is when you buy and one day, you sell it a few years down the line and you make the capital gain there. Or if you buy the property and then you rent it out and then you get recurring income from the rental. But in both cases, it will be very speculative, because you don't know if you wanted to sell it, whether it will be a buyer, or if you wanted to rent it out, there will be an available tenant who is willing to pay your property with the kind of rates that you expect. So the way we restructure this is like, we put these people to become as part of like our lender pool. in a way, then they can invest in property without requiring big ticket size, because we do crowdfunding. So people can just, participate with the amount as little as per lot, about $2. Then they can start participating. If they wanted to put in more, then they just, participate with more lots. And even with the same amount of money in investment, you always hear the concept that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you can diversify and put it in all the different loans. And also, the risk is more managed that way. And another point, it's also it's becoming less speculative and more secure, because the off taker, which in this case, the people who wanted to buy the property or the people who wanted to lease the property, is already there to become the borrowers, and hence there's like no gap in the waiting period. And once the loan is fully funded, you will receive the repayments from the next month onwards.
Correct.
So that's basically what Gradana does, Jatin. And yeah, we'll be excited to answer any questions that the other panelists or the other audience or yourself may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela. Hira, if you can tell us a little more about you, about Bursa Sajada.
Hi, thank you everyone for having me here. I'm really sorry, actually. I'm not really in a good background and everything. Just had a opening of my new cafe here in Indonesia. Actually, it's a bike cafe here in Indonesia. But what I'm going to tell you about now is about Bursa Sajadah. Bursa Sajadah is actually, I'm a bit surprised when Dita asked me to talk in this forum, because I'm more into an offline business and a very conventional business. It's so different with how other business are doing. So my business is actually running as a retail stores. We have 11 retail stores here all over Indonesia. At the moment, it's only in Java Island. We are focusing in Muslim stuff, okay, Hajj and Umrah souvenirs. So what the original idea was actually for people who go for pilgrim or for Hajj or Umrah. So after they come back from Hajj and Umrah, they need to give some souvenirs to the colleague, to the families, to the neighbors. So instead of them bringing all the way the stuff from Saudi Arabia, they can buy it here. So we provide all the stuff here in Indonesia, so it's easier for them to actually buy and give it to the family, neighbors, and also colleague. Because here in Indonesia, we have this culture to give. We have a culture to, every time you come back from somewhere, you have to give everyone the souvenirs. So it's easier if we have it here in Indonesia. So currently we have 11 stores all over Java Island for the offline. For the offline stores, still a brick and mortar store, still a very conventional way. But also we have our e-commerce as well. And also we are just using marketplace, all the digital platform. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Hira, for joining in, and congratulations for the cafe opening.
Yes, I'm really sorry because I was so hectic from morning, because we just opened a new cafe. It's a concept of an eatery and a bike wash. So it's called Bike Story here in Bandung, Indonesia. So we just actually recently opened today. Actually, today is the opening. So I was like running here and there today for the webinar as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Jatin.
Budi, if you can tell us a little more about you, about Doppling Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Jatin.
Yep. Yes, Budi.
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly?
Clearly, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Just got surprised when Dion contacted me to present about Doppling Indonesia, actually, Jatin, because we started only like 1.5 years and actively currently only like 8 or 9 months in Indonesia, and just piloting in small cities in Java, West Java area. Okay, Doppling is one of the application that provide home service or on-site medical services, completing the telemedicines that currently booming in Indonesia during the pandemic condition, actually. So we provide for home care, home visit, for doctors, midwives, physiotherapists, and also for wound care from the nurses. And also we provide for medicine delivery to all the patients that cannot go to the hospital or go to the clinics because they're afraid of the pandemic condition, and also because of all the mobilizations conditions from the patients themselves. So we got supported starting in 2019 from Telkom Indonesia. We are participating in one of the incubation program from Telkom Indonesia. Currently, they have like some 18 something percent of our share. So they are helping us, supporting us, mentoring us, and giving us all the knowledge to make the startup works and survive for the next couple of 100 years lah. Actually, okay. I think that's all regarding Doppling Indonesia. So currently we are trying to expand our services. And Alhamdulillah, we already spread to some Java area, straight to Bali, and also starting to for Sumatra Island, and also for the Sulawesi Island.
Okay.
Thank you, Jadin.
Thank you so much, Buddhi. And Angela, what were your early days like? Like, when you had this idea, you would go about building a prototype, you got investment or you bootstrap. What was those early days like for you?
Okay, so maybe a lot of people always ask me, right? Like, how do you come up with this idea? First of all, so it's actually, I have another founder for Gradana. We both used to work for a property development company, and at that time, this was around 2016, where the way we see it, the property market starts slowing down. It's due because of the tax amnesty program that the government introduced, but it kind of changed the way the market behaves and the way the transaction happens, due to that regulation. So when we take a look at it, we were looking at like who are the customers of this developer company. Is one of the largest development company in Indonesia, and we see that actually 60% are actually investors and 40% are end users, which are quite interesting because you would have thought that it should be the other way around, right? Like property or shelter is one of the basic needs. Like everybody needs one, and you need to live and have a roof over your head, right? And it should be 60% users and maybe 40% investors. So, and then, of course, for users, it will be people like who are millennial generations, such as ourselves, because, after the job, you get married, you wanted to have your own place. And so we asked a lot of our colleagues back then, like for those who already purchased a house and for those who are still not yet purchasing a house, but we know that they wanted to because they're getting married soon, right? And we asked them like, what's their experience like, and then what's the reason you are not buying a house yet? So a lot of them actually complains that it's due to the fact that okay, like it's a big ticket purchase investment. If I have to come up with the whole down payment, it's a bit difficult. But if I can install, it's easy on my pocket. So a lot of things like that come up. And even in Indonesia, another crazy thing is if you're, let's say, not yet in the market to buy, you wanted to just rent a place, right? An apartment or a house. In Indonesia, most of the landlords will ask for a 1-year rental in advance, Jatin. And I heard this might be also the case in India, yeah? Which is, of course, like nobody get paid 1 year in advance in terms of salary. And as a business, unless you're the landlord, you don't also get paid 1 year in advance. And hence, obviously, there is this mismatch between what the market wants versus the market practice. So when we see problems like this, and then we see that, okay, there's a lot of investors out there, but these investors are also start declining due to the tax amnesty. And then at that time, we start, there's the start of the P2P lending model. Back then in 2016, it started coming into Indonesia. And we take a look at the model and feels that, hey, this could be applied to the property market. Obviously, the people who need the financing become the borrowers. The investors side, we can convert them to become the lenders. So then, again, from the idea stage, and then me and my co-founder William then try to formulate things, put the simple idea mapping and the business process and things like that. And we actually are very lucky to have one of our seed investor who is an angel, who is very supportive, and he also is how do you say, a partner in one of the PE firm. So, and he is also willing to sit in the board and give us advice and things like that. And at that time, the regulation is also about to be issued by OJK, but we already see the draft that they will regulate this P2P lending system. And one of the requirements is basically, you need to have someone with a financial background, which obviously I come from the property development side, and my partner is also was working for the property development side, although he was a management consultant from Accenture before he was doing some time in Sinar Masland. So again, with the from the idea to the initial fundraising, I think it's all like, I think if you believe in something and you meet with the right people, and if those people also believe in your idea and have a similar background that they can bring in value and also believe in you, I think that would be the I think a great match. Yeah, and I always tell people that, you know, when you're doing a startup, it's very hard for us to be a master of everything. Each one of us has our own, how do you say, plus and minus points. So you should find a partner who can complement your minus points. We are not a Superman or a Superwoman. So let's get other Superman and Superwomen, like, and then, like, you know, combine it to become a super company. But yeah, we cannot possibly master everything in ourselves, and you will get burnout really easily. And when it comes to problems, it's easier for you to give up if you're doing it alone, or it's harder for you to articulate stuff because you don't have friends or someone who you can trust, who can you do some brainstorming. Yeah, so I think it's very crucial. And then after that seed, then yeah, we built the prototype and things like that, building up the team and so on. So last year, in 2019, we have scaled up and we raised our pre-series A. And the plan is actually to raise our Series A this year, but this year is a pandemic year, so it's a bad time to do our Series A. But yeah, the business itself has been self-sustaining and EBITDA positive for the past 5 months, of course, with some adjustments and things like that. But yes, we do to hope to be able to continue the fundraising early next year.
Awesome.
So that's the story of us and the fundraising journey, Jatin. Yes.
Hira, you are in retail. So what was the impact of COVID-19 lockdowns in your business? And the very fact that you're launching a cafe is a sign of growth. So how did you navigate it from that situation to this particular moment?
For the cafe.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. For the cafe, what we actually do, I mean, like, this is the founder of this cafe is me with my other 7 friends. So it's 8 of us all together, and yes, it's, I mean, like, we just started today actually in this pandemic era. But what we see is during this pandemic, everybody got they changed their lifestyle. A lot of people changed their lifestyle from maybe from taking a car, they started to bike now. So everybody here in Bandung are biking, are cycling, riding a bike everywhere. And then bicycle has been very famous nowadays here in Bandung, in Indonesia. Not only in Bandung, but also in Indonesia. I mean, Jakarta people, they are all cycling everywhere. Also in Bandung, also the same thing. So it's really, really fun. I mean, like, it's really, really funny, actually, the stories. It just started like about a month ago when we all cycling, and then we stopped in one area, and then we saw this place is actually for rent. And then we just talked, I mean, like, with a group of with a group of friends that doing the cycling together. And then we just said, oh, that place looks amazing. How about if we just open a cafe there for the cyclists? Because a lot of the people who's riding in this area in Bandung, they don't have a proper, there's not a lot of cafe that provide proper breakfast food yet. So at that point, and then we said, okay, let's try to calculate everything. And then everybody was like calculating everything. And then we just started to open, I mean, like, we just come up with the idea to open a cafe called Bike Story. So we combine the concept between an eatery and then a bike wash.
Okay.
Which is a great, I mean, like, we have a very, very great animo this morning. Like, we have about like 50 cyclists coming here this morning to come and check it out about the place and everything. So it was actually fun. So I think during the pandemic as well, if you can see I believe there's always an opportunity in every situation. So also in this pandemic as well, I mean, like, if you can see, okay, if you can find the right opportunity, you can actually do that as well, actually.
Brilliant. And Budri, I assume that your business would have a positive impact because digital health is in focus. People would want to, as the consumers are looking forward to it, investors would want to support. So what was like your journey in like last 9 months? Budri.
Sorry, can you repeat the last question because it's like.
Yeah. So what was I believe pandemic would had a very positive impact on the digital health service like providers or founders. So what has been your journey in last 9 months? How did you navigate the situation and how you are trying to scale up?
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay. The first, yes, this is positive impact for us. Actually, starting from the mid of the pandemic condition, actually starting in June, July, because in March and April and May, we still have like something adjustment period just to have like survival mode, or what the best thing that we have to do to keep surviving in this pandemic. So we try to develop new menu on our apps, covering for giving COVID-19 test, starting from rapid test, from swab PCR and everything. So actually the journey is like very interesting for us. So based on this pandemic condition, we are pushed by the condition just to survive, because maybe if there's no pandemic condition, we cannot survive like this. Actually, so we push ourselves, how to think creatively and give what do you call it, the best solution for the society, right? So so I think that's the thing from the journey from the beginning, starting this pandemic condition. And regarding the second question is trying to navigate and want to scale up. Currently we have like following some what do you call it, startup week, like the ASEAN Korea, and also we are following the training that provided by Telkomsel, one of the biggest provider in Indonesia, telecommunication provider in Indonesia. And alhamdulillah, also fortunately we won, even though not the first for the ASEAN Korea startup, but we won the third place actually there. And then we also follow the Telkomsel next dev program. We also won for the first place. Hopefully, because we provide the best solution currently for the existing condition for the medical services program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Budi. And so now this particular part where there are a lot of businesses who are not based in Indonesia, but they want to scale their businesses in Indonesia. So Angela, what would be your advice, top 2-3 points for the founders who would want to scale their businesses in Indonesia? Top 2 points.
Okay. Well, I mean, Indonesia is a huge market, so I think it has always been kind of like, you know, the target market, or, you know, a lot of the dream destination for a lot of startups in the region to kind of expand to Indonesia. But I think what you have to understand is, I think there is plus and minus points in a way that it's easier because at least, you know, although with the different races and sub races and sub languages, we have a unifying language of Indonesian or Bahasa. So at least, you know, when you create your website or your platform, you don't have to create like multi-language interface and things like that, because there is a unifying language. In terms of culture, yes, it could be different from one region to another region. So if you are focusing on servicing that might be sensitive to that, based on professional preference and habits, then you may need tweaking. But however, because although it's different regions and different parts of the country, at least it's still one country and unified by a single regulation, the central government regulation. It should be quite simple, as long as you follow those regulations. But again, the way I see it, right, whenever you wanted to venture to a new country which is not your own turf, there is a huge learning curve for you to do, even for something that is like SaaS or can be quite automated, which you would think that, okay, I can just, you know, copy paste and do it. And others so with less businesses, which is, let's say, property or finance, because there's a lot of regulations and governments related to that, right? But I would still think that it's good to have a local partner whenever you enter a new turf or a territory, because this local partner would be the person who understands about the culture, can give you feedbacks about the regulation and what to do and all that. And because it's a trusted partner, right? I mean, between you need to be able to be lucky enough to find a good partner lah. But once you get a good one, there should be a trusted relationship, and who else you can count on. I mean, I think it's better to trust your partner than to trust an external consultant, right? So I think that's what to put into mind whenever you wanted to expand to Indonesia or even to other countries outside of your main turf or territory.
Well said.
Yeah.
Mira, what would be your top 2-3 points for the founders who would want to expand in Indonesia?
I think I do really agree with Angela as well, that you really need to find a local partner. That's, I think, the very main things that everybody need to understand that. But sorry, what was it again? About
the people who want to expand their business in Indonesia. What would be your advice to them?
make sure that you actually know about the Indonesian market as well. That's the main thing. But Indonesia is a very, very big market because we have so much population. We have like about 268 million population at the moment. So it's a very big market. So as long as you know the market, you know what to do. I'm like, you have the niche market with you, you specialize your business as well, then you can actually know what to do next after that. And if you want to find a partner that are actually with the same vision as you, and that can give you a benefit. I mean, like substitute between complement each other. So like if you are not that good in finance, like what Angela said, that you have to find someone that is actually good in that field. So if you want to expand the market, this is the place to expand the market. Indonesia is a very, very good, very, very good market. I believe that compared to, I mean, cannot compare to India. India is a big market as well, I guess. I'm sure. I mean, but Indonesia also a big market, very, very big. And also the population here in Indonesia, we are very consumptive. So that's actually a very, very good, it's a very, very good point for the businesses, for the entrepreneurs.
Yep. Thank you so much. What would be your top 2 points for founders?
Okay, thank you. For me, is first the commitment. Of course, commitment is the best thing that we have to provide to the team, to the company actually. And then we have to be creative and also adaptive with the condition, learning from the pandemic condition. The last one is doing it for your dream. So the two first point is the bonus from what you are dreaming of, and then how to achieve your dream actually, Jatin. And of course, agree also with Hira. Hi, Bu Hira. I'm also one of your loyal customer, Bu, from Bursa Sejadah Bogor.
Oh, okay. Oh, terima kasih, Bapak. Okay, thank you so much.
Just realized that this Bursa Sejadah that I usually shop at. Okay,
wow,
so
honored.
that's my.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Hira. Great job. And then that's my 3 top point actually, Jatin. Thank you.
Awesome. And Angela, when you talk about growth and you talk about scaling up teams, scaling up processes, scaling up business, so what was that journey? Like, how do you build that team who could act as a founders themselves?
Okay. Finding people is always very challenging. It's like, I mean, when I do a program in the other program, a lot of the startups come up with 2 things. First is funding, second is people, right? So finding the great rock stars or the great people, it's very challenging. But I think you just have to keep trying, and sometimes in Bahasa we call something called jodoh, which is like a destiny, and then like if it's destined that you will or fated that you get the right person, then you will get the right person. But of course, in order for you to reach your destiny, you have to put in efforts, which is searching, right? So like for us, it's basically, of course, when we first started, we can only afford a very small team, and it grows and it grows and it grows. So the very first key thing that we had at that time, it's like, one of our colleagues has also come from a consulting background, ex-Accenture. We were very lucky to have her because, her skills is more like a middle to a senior manager, and hence she can cover a lot of stuff. And with the consultancy background, she can also cover a wide variety of areas, from everything from the operations to the tech side to the product side. And then as we go on, and that's what we can afford at that time, is maybe having more of, like, let's say, part-timers or interns, and also certain key experts which we cannot afford to pay full-time. And then in return, what we do, it's more like on an ESOP agreement, meaning this is like, let's say, for the legal advice, like I got the help from one of the lady that I know, which becomes a friend, because in the end we work together, that she works for one of the top law firms. And then in her free time, she assists us with the legal structure and so on. And and in return, what we can provide to her, obviously we cannot pay the lawyers retention fee or per hour charges, which gets really expensive. But again, she also needs to be passionate and believe in the business. And in return, what we can do for her is, providing stock options. So I think like key things like that when you first started, it's, try maybe not to have to, if it's difficult for you to have full-time employees, but quality people. But yes, you need to get that quality first going. One of the ways to get it, it's like either employ them part-time or on consultancy basis, or based on, how do you say, certain KPIs, meaning if they perform certain things, you pay them, or in other ways, it can also be based on the stock option, something like that. And of course, as you can afford to pay more and have more people in the team, then it's also better to have full-time people to complement your team and so on. That's my experience, Jatin. Yeah.
Brilliant. Hira, you also mentioned that you have multiple retail stores. So, you have managers, you have to enable them to become a better leaders. So in your case, what has worked? What are your learnings from that?
Oh, long journey. It's really, I agree with Angela, what she said, that finding people is a very, very big challenge. Very, very big challenge, especially here in Indonesia. I mean, like, if you are lucky enough, if you have the destiny, you will find the right people, but you have to keep searching. But what happened with my company, I mean, like with Bursa Sajada, okay, because this is we've been around for like about 20 years now. So we have a team that combined between the old generation, the middle generation, as well as the millennials, which you really have to treat them differently. These three generations, you cannot really treat them with the same treatment, because this three generation is totally different treatment that you need to do with them. Like with the, so the first time I was so confused to actually continue about, I mean, like, to actually treat them, how to treat them well, how to build them into a great leader. It's really, really hard. But now, after a while, I learned about something. I learned from coaching. So what we have to do is treating them differently. The old generation, which is the baby boomers generation, and then the X generation and the Y generation. With like the baby boomer generation, they are very, very loyal. They are very, very loyal people. But you cannot expect them to have a spontaneous, or to have something like they will do whatever whatever you said, as what you instruct to them. So you have to know, don't have an expectation to them, for them to actually help you with a suggestion or do something. So just instruct them well, and then they will do it for you. But they are very, very loyal people. And then you come up with the X generation. With the X generation, they are very in between. I came from X generation. I'm not as millennial as others here. I guess I'm quite old here. So with the X generation, you just have to know how to. You just have to give them a clear reward and punishment. Okay, if you do this, if you achieve this target, you can get the rewards as much as this. But if you fail on this one, you just give them punishment. So as simple as giving reward and punishment. And then we have a new. Our new teams, most of them are millennials, because nowadays our new teams are millennials. This is very hard to handle for me. I found that it's very hard to handle them, because they are not as loyal as the baby boomers. They can just stay with you for 3 months and then they will go and find another job. Or if they don't happy with one thing, they can just they can just go and leave you. So it's really, really hard, especially for us as a retail business. It's really hard to have someone that will stay with us forever. For a long time. So with these millennials, what we do, our treatment to them is actually we have to have a heart-to-heart conversation. We have to keep coaching them. We have to keep talking to them. We have to keep encouraging them to be a great. To improve themselves well as well. So it's very, very different between these three generations. You cannot just treat them the same thing. So that's how I learned to manage this. And then once you know how to treat them, you have to really make sure that you have the same mindset with the whole team. Because if you don't have that same mindset with the whole team, it's really, really hard also to go together as a business.
Awesome. Dinah has asked a question. Dinah, I have enabled you to speak up. If you can speak up, that would be great. Else I'll just read out your question. Dinah, I'll just wait for a second or two. Else I'll just read out the question then. Okay, it's a very important question that she has asked. Going back to the initial stages of building your startup, when you had your idea, how were you convinced that it was a good idea or it will work? There are many startups nowadays that fail very quickly. And how did you become confident in your idea? Budi, you want to take that up?
Okay, Jatin, let me see the chat first for the question. Yeah.
Yep. Or Angela, you can also respond. How were you convinced that and this is the idea that will become big?
Okay.
And then Budi, you also respond once he responds.
Okay. So I think first of all, you need to realize who will be your customers, and they would be your willing customers, or at the very least, if you still somehow can figure out who will be your partners, because some business do like B2C, but some business is more like B2B2C. So which is basically like you need to ask them and test the waters with these people, because these people will be the one who will be paying for your services or goods if they are the potential customers, or if they're the business partners, they will be the ecosystem partners. Then they will bring leads or generate business for you, and which means you need to address their pain points, or make it worthwhile for them. So I think instead of like sometimes maybe we have crazy idea or a wonderful idea, but I think at the end of the day, it's a business, right? It needs to pay off. It needs to have a paying customer. Yeah, either you have an external investor or even to just keep it running. So I think first of all, you need to test on the on the potential customers, and then second, I think after that idea part, the idea rationalization part, the sanity check. Then second, I think you may want to kind of check on how you can be able to generate revenue or income based on the goods that you provide or the service that you provide. And again, you can again check back with the potential customer whether that would make sense or not. So that's my 2 cents, Jatin. Yeah.
Awesome. And Budi, what made you so convinced about Dockling Indonesia idea?
Okay. First stages that we do is what we did is validating the market actually. So we provided some questionnaires, some surveys with our small teams, both the public, and ask them about needs for home care or home visit for medical services. Actually, it's already running for all the years, already running in Indonesia actually, and also the world, I think. But somehow the information is not easily got by the people for the medical services on site or home visit things. So we do the validation. We do the product validation, we do the business model validation first, and asking people, are they willing to pay for this product or the service that we are providing? After we are convinced by the result of the survey, of the validation, so we try to launch our apps, and then we get all the insights, all the bad insight, the haters, all the lovers, and everything to our team, and then we try to fix and upgrade our apps and our services and maintain the best, and still updating and upgrading all the service that needs to be what do you call it, upgrade that giving us a bad insight for us. Perfect. That's all, Jatin.
Awesome. So now we are, so we typically do this at all our panels is where we have panelists ask questions to each other. So we want to know what knowledgeable people would want to know from another knowledgeable people. So Hira, if you were to ask a question to Angela or Budi, what would that question be? And since we have 3 people and we can do an entire circle, that one by one we'll finish this round. Hira,
I'll let others to ask question first, I guess.
So Angela, you have to ask a question. This idea won't work. What is a question you would want to ask other founders, or it could be a specific question or anything that you want to ask?
Maybe I will go first, Jatin.
Yep. Or let Angela speak, else you ask.
Okay.
Yes, Angela.
Okay.
Should I start first or should?
Yes, Angela, we start with you. Yep.
Okay. So I think, obviously all our businesses are different, right? One is in healthcare, one is in retail and all that. So I think I would just like to understand from your respective standpoint and point of view, what is your current top problem that you face when you're facing your business, right? I mean, I'm sure there's like 10 problems where we have to prioritize, but what is your number one current pain point and that you might need help on. Who knows, maybe and all the other panelists or the other, how do you say, attendees can help you, right? So that's what I throwing out at you, Go. Thank you.
Very good question. Yes. Budhi, you want to respond? No, you have to respond. Both of you have to respond.
Okay. For my first point for the pain points is the human resource actually, because Doppling is running in the service industry, especially for the medical. So we have like some keys that we need to give attention more regarding the service area. First, from our internal team, it is very quite hard working piece that we need to do. How to train, how to make sure that they have also the sense of belonging to our product, and then giving the best services to the customers and patients, actually, Angela. And then the second one is to provide the best service, also to maintain the partners of our medical practitioners. As we all know that doctors and nurses and physiotherapists, they're all a lot of them that need to be maintained with the specific way. So that's the first and the second one from our startup.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And Hira, apart from being in this webinar and managing your launch, which is your top?
Maybe what what my biggest challenge at the moment is to find a partner that can actually partners that can actually help brainstorming for the business, for the Bursa Sajadah. Since we are really conventional, we are really in offline. We are strong in offline business, but I really want to step up or goes more into digital. Goes more into a digital world, like the digital business side. Like I want to know more about venture, how to actually grab a venture capital, like what Angela did. It's really great actually what Budi did. So I would like to, for me, I think the biggest challenge for me is that, it would be great if I can find a partner that can help me to move to the next step of businesses.
Awesome. So Chris and Cheryl, this is your task. Find them.
Yes, definitely. We're chatting actually, and really excited about this potential and this opportunity.
Yes, offline.
Woody, you wanted to ask a question. What is the question you want to ask?
Okay, this is the most important thing for Doppling actually. So I want to know about the others' opinion regarding how to build our customers' trust, just to maintain the relationship with our customers.
Very good question. Yes. Who will go first, Angela or Hira?
Okay, I'll go first. Hi, Budi. I think, from your standpoints, I think your customers will be the end users or the patients. That's my assumptions. And your doctors, nurses, and physiotherapists and all that would be your business partners. Am I right to assume that?
Correct.
Or
correct,
do you, or do you put the doctors and nurses is also as part of your customers? Because I'm not quite sure how you price and do the business modeling. It could be like, in my, just my thought, right? They both the end customers as well as those, how do you say, healthcare providers can be your customers. But what I wanted to clarify is, I think I better ask you, like, what's the definition for the customer in this case? Is the end user?
Customer would be our end user.
Hello.
The patients.
Hello?
The patient.
Patients. He's saying patients would be
the patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think for patients, right? I think a lot of it has to be. Coming from a patient standpoint, and in my previous job, I did a joint venture with one of the hospital lines. Basically, in my experience, I think when we look at patients' preference, I think oftentimes it's because they wanted to go to a certain doctor or a certain nurse or a certain specialist because of certain reference, or certain trust or track record. Maybe they hear that, my uncle has a heart condition. He has been going to Mr. B. So the customer's trust would be, then I would just follow my uncle's recommendation. It has been a proven case that he or she is a good doctor, and all that. So I think if your concern is about the trust, whether they ask about how trustworthy is your services or the doctors that that provide the services to your platform. I think for patients, a lot of it is because of reference building. Yeah, I think in a lot of B2C, especially healthcare is reference building. I think you should somehow, I think, put a lot of credentials for those testimonials from previous patients for these healthcare providers. So it can generate more trust from new users to try to use Dr. X or Dr. Y or Nurse Z or physiotherapist Z and all that, and things like that. So I think that's my my view. And of course, apart from the testimonials from other people, you actually need to deliver the service properly, because it comes back with that, right? Yeah, that's my 2 cents, Woody.
Hira, you want to
Thank you
respond
very
to
much.
that?
Yeah, I think what Angela mentioned was like, because it's a services business, right? I mean, like what Budi is offering is a services business. But what's good about it is actually he gave a solution to what people are currently having at the moment. Like we are in this pandemic situation, but we are so afraid to go to the hospital or seeing a doctor online or offline. So he's actually giving a really, really good solution to the customer. So I think a lot of people will need the services. It's just that you have to provide the good services. So there's a lot of testimonial and references coming to everybody. So after that, I think I'm very much sure that customer will actually be loyal to the services.
Awesome. We want to do a rapid fire, so you can give a 1 word or 1 line answers to it. Angela, which is your most favorite book and you would want to recommend to other founders?
Linian, but it's more like for Hira because it's kind of like a female thing, right? By Sheryl Sandberg. I mean, if you know that book, yeah. It's about women supporting other women.
Awesome. And Hira, what would be the book that you would want to recommend?
Book that I recommend. So many books, but honestly, I haven't read any book lately. Yeah, it's been a while.
So Lenin, you should.
It's been a while. I can't remember anything at the moment.
Budi, 1 book that you liked, you would want to recommend?
Okay, until now, in my mind, the best book that I ever read is from Philip Kotler regarding the consumer behavior or the marketing management things. I think it's going to be the basic things that we need to have if we are starting a company or some startup things. Jatin.
Awesome. And entrepreneurship is a very humbling experience. We win awards, we are on top of the world, and sometimes we have to take favors. So Budi, which is the most recent favor you had to ask from someone?
Sorry, Jatin, can you repeat?
Which is the most recent favor you had to ask from someone?
Recent favor.
Yep.
Hello, Jatin?
Yes. So sometimes
I
we
think
have
it's going to the screen is freezing actually in my
So Angela, what is the most recent favor you had to ask from someone?
Actually, in my case, it's not someone, it's actually a team. So the most recent favor that I asked is actually to my team, right? Especially during this pandemic, when it was a lockdown. It was a very uncertain period. I think people are worried about their job security. People are worried about their safety and health concerns and all that. So and then at that time, it's also quite a bit of an uncertain period, which we have to navigate through. Even like now it has slowly opened up, and of course starting to have the light at the end of the tunnel. With we've been EBITDA positive for the past few months, and the market has opened up and all that. Actually, the favor is actually at that time during lockdown, I asked them, and I'm really sorry about it, that I asked for a pay adjustment with different ranges for different people, which I wasn't happy about, but I felt that I need to, because we are in this boat together. We want to float as long as possible during these uncertain times, and I really don't want to let go anyone. All of them are equally important, but with certain resources and no light at the end of the tunnel at that time yet, I have to convey the situation and ask a favor from them to understand that, like, I hate doing this, but hey, I have to do it, at least understand, you know, and please do not demoralize and things like that. And thank God it's over, and yeah, and then I can really put them on normal payroll starting January next year. Yeah.
Hira, which is the most recent favor you had to ask?
Same with Angela. Exactly the same with Angela. Yeah, because it's really hard. I mean, like when the pandemic starts, I actually take the decision on March that I have to cut down the salary of the team. It's really hard for me to actually do that because it's heartbreaking to actually do that. But to be able to save the whole businesses, we have to do that. We need to have a very, I'm not saying hard heart. I mean, because if you have a soft heart, you cannot do it. But if you don't do that, you cannot save the whole business. So it's really, really hard decision to make. It's a really hard favor to ask for. But luckily, I mean, like, fortunately, like everybody in the team are on the same. They can understand that we are all in this together. They are still stay with us, and they can understand that we need to do that. It's really, really hard. But from businesses, I learned how you cannot have a too soft heart when doing business. You really have to be, what do you call? You really have to be able to take a decision. You really have to be able to take a decision, even though it's a heartbreaking decision, and you have to be able to say no as well. That's a really, really hard things that I mean, like, that I learned from doing business.
Okay, awesome. Budhi, you got the question right. The favor you had to ask from someone.
Get it. From my side, the recent favor is when we go to this pandemic, some of our partners, doctors and all nurses, we ask them to, okay, we have to breathe ourselves to still giving the best service to the people. So which means that we understand they are afraid. It's not because our business need to still go on, but we still need them to help the people that still need their services actually. So that's the one that we try to deliver the message to our partners. Some partners close their clinics, close their hospitals. They don't give any services, and some of the doctors going to the center of the pandemic. Area, and some of the nurses and physiotherapists, they are stopping their services. Also, we are asking them, okay, let's go together. We're not charging anything to you. Just give the best for our society in Bogor, actually, previously.
Awesome.
Yes,
so last 2-3 minutes of this conversation. So Angela, if everything happens the way you imagine it should be, what in that case, what would Gradana be? You'll have to unmute.
Yes. Gradana will be the largest the first and largest digital property financing platform and one-stop solution for financing and investment in Southeast Asia. So yeah, like you said, if you dream and dream it how it should be, that would be my dream and the vision. So from Indonesia to other regional countries eventually.
Awesome. Hira, same question. Everything happens the way you imagine it should be. What would Bursa Sajada be then?
For Bursa Sajada, I really want Bursa Sajada to have more stores, and as the only solution for Hajj and Umroh souvenirs in Indonesia, because I believe Indonesia is a very big market. For me, Indonesia itself is it's still a lot of things to do to be able to explore the businesses in Indonesia itself. And then I want this business to be able to sustain to longer period. That's even more important, I guess.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Budhi?
Okay, well, the next 2-3 years, actually, for 3 years, we are aiming to be the first application that provide borderless hospital, actually. So people no need to be not need going to the hospital to get the medication, but also when they have lack of mobilization, they cannot go, they cannot have transportation can also be provided the medical services in their own home. So we will provide the digital application for the hospital concept. Thank you.
Awesome. And so every time we have this summit, we have some common question with a different theme every time. So the theme for this summit's end question is, if you were to describe your entrepreneurial journey in one word, then what would that word be? Buddhi?
One word, yeah.
Grateful. What did you say?
Grateful.
Okay, perfect. So
Grateful.
that word is taken. You cannot use that one. What?
You are lucky, Budi. You have the first one to answer. I would love. I think I'd say challenging.
Okay, brilliant. And Angela?
Roller coaster. Ups and downs, right? So roller coaster, because you only give me one word.
So actually,
There's 2 words, Angela. There's 2 words.
Okay, roller coaster.
So we will give it to
Continue.
you.
Because up and down is obviously 3 words. So yeah.
On eChai, we run this online show. We call it Startup Rollercoaster, where we invite founders to come and talk about ups and downs for 10 minutes. So it's a good word. I like that. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. We will be sharing about this on LinkedIn, where all the speakers will be tagged. So in case if you want to ask more questions, you can ask those questions. Jacob has asked questions. I'll take that up because we have 2 minutes extra. Which entrepreneur is your ideal and do you look up to? Who is your idol? Which entrepreneur you look up to? Okay.
Difficult question for them, huh?
Tough question. I never. Okay. I never idolized one person, so I always learn from everybody.
But any person, like not necessarily idol, but you like them, you get inspired by their story, their journey.
I get inspired so easily.
Okay, awesome. Budi, you want to take that up?
Okay, my idol, my idol is my late father, actually.
Okay, brilliant.
So he's the best entrepreneur that I ever met. Started from small to have something actually until he passed away. And he always told me that don't be an entrepreneur, just work in a good company, work hard, get the monthly salary that you will get for your wife and your child and everything. So stay steady lah. But somehow I look at him. That's the best idol that I ever have.
Awesome. And Jacob, all the people that I admire, I look up to, I invite them as a speakers in our forums. So you can see 3 people right over here. And thank you so much, everyone. Angela, Hira, and Budi for committing your time and interacting with us.
Thank you, Jatin.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next. We'll have a 1 hour break. We'll go to Malaysia then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going
Thank you,
around
Jatin.
Southeast
Thank
Asia.
you.